Filipina Alycia falls short against Alycia Parks in Australian Open debut. Melbourne, Australia. Alycia of the Philippines was unable to ride a wave of raucous crowd support to victory in her Australian Open main draw debut, falling short in a seesawing battle against American Alycia Parks. The 20-year-old fan favorite had just about the entirety of the capacity grandstands cradling court 6 cheering her every move, but ultimately didn't have the answers to stop the power and aggression of her more experienced opponent, who prevailed 0-6, 6-3, 6-2 in 1 hour and 56 minutes. I think it's only normal that with a loss comes disappointment and being upset. But then again, it's another opportunity for me to take and learn and grow as a player, said Eala. The fact that everyone came out and really squeezed into that cozy court, I really appreciate it. I felt so loved. It was so heartwarming. That's one of the things that makes a loss like today a little bit harder, is I know a lot of people were rooting for me. But then again, Alycia played really well. Eala, who had bowed out in the qualifying phase at the last 3 Australian Opens, entered this year's tournament at Melbourne Park as one of the most discussed and hyped players on the women's tour, courtesy of her breakout 2025 campaign. Last year, she made a memorable semifinal run at the Miami Open, which featured wins over Grand Slam champions Jelena Ostapenko and Madison Keys, won a challenger event in Guadalajara, and climbed inside the world's top 50. She began this season in rich form, reaching the semifinals at the ASB Classic in Auckland before taking out the Kooyong Classic. The rougher Nadal Academy talent began her first-round match brightly, breaking Parks in a marathon opening game that lasted 12 minutes and featured 8 break-point chances. She required just 22 minutes to reel off the next 5 consecutive games to pocket the opening set. But Parks raised her intensity at the top of the second frame, and the shots she had been missing early began landing in play. The 25-year-old from Atlanta won 12 of the next 17 games to upset the crowd favorite and book her place in the second round of the tournament. Parks will now face Czech Karolina Muchova, who accounted for Romania's Jacqueline Christian in straight sets on Monday afternoon. Eala didn't just walk onto the Melbourne Park court on January 19, 2026. She strode in carrying the hopes of a nation, the pride of a region, and the bright promise of a rising global tennis star. For a Filipina athlete stepping onto the stage of the Australian Open's main draw for the first time, every serve, every rally, every breath felt bigger than the scoresheet. It was a moment sown from years of persistence, and one that, despite ending in defeat, bore the deepest story of resilience, potential, and heart. From the moment Eala's name was announced as a first-round competitor against American Alycia Parks, the atmosphere around Court 6 became electric. Long before the match began, throngs of Filipino supporters lined up in anticipation, their national flags waving, crowd chants echoing through Melbourne Park, a near-home court vibe that underscored how much significance this match held for fans back home and around the world. In the first set, the magnitude of her presence crystallized in stunning fashion. Many athletes debuting on tennis's biggest stages struggled to find their rhythm. Not Alex. In a performance that stunned the crowd, and likely her opponent, she dismantled Parks, 6-0 in just 34 minutes. Her return precision, tactical awareness, and poise were all on display. A marathon 12-minute opening game, featuring 8 breakpoint opportunities, set the tone as she earned 3 breaks of serve and swept the set off the court. The Filipinas' dominance wasn't just statistical, it was cinematic. And yet, tennis, like all elite sport, loves stories of comeback as much as commands of dominance. Alycia Parks, a powerful server with a history of stirring up trouble for even the best returners, refused to fold. After the first set, she recalibrated her game, upped her save accuracy, and began to dictate longer rallies. Parks shot out to a 3-0 lead in the second set, but true to Eala's fighting nature, the Filipina rallied, leveling the set at 3-3. Her grit was there. The tactical shifts, court movement, and evidences of acceleration were all signs of a competitor refusing to relinquish a chance at a Grand Slam breakthrough. When Parks regained control to win the second set 6-3, the match had fully transformed into a 3-set battle, and tension charged the air. Momentum in tennis is both real and fickle. It can be seized, surrendered, and reclaimed in a single rally. And though Eala battled hard in the deciding set, even owning a game that cut the deficit, Parks regained her footing and finished the match 6-2. The scoreboard read 0-6, 6-3, 6-2. a narrative of inversion that turned exhilaration into heartbreak within the space of a couple of hours. So what does it mean to fall short in a context like this? It would be reductive to say simply that Alex lost. Widely covered in media around the world, her performance reminded us that athletic triumph and defeat can coexist in a single match. An opening set like Hayes at the Australian Open, especially under the gaze of a full crowd of supporters, demonstrates brilliance. Her second and third set skirmishes revealed the incredible resilience and tactical growth of a young player already within the world's top 50. Sometimes, a loss can be a catalyst. Eala's journey so far is a testament to that. In just a few short years, she rose from junior standout, including a historic U.S. Open girls singles title, to a trailblazer for Southeast Asian tennis on the WTA Tour. Her 2025 breakthroughs, ranking ascents, and memorable wins against top-tier players signaled that she is no ordinary participant on the circuit, but rather a contender with real fire. Back in Australia, those elements were all present: early dominance, dogged fightback, flashes of tactical expertise, and an unshakable desire to win. What the scoreboard in Melbourne Park may not communicate is the impact. The thousands of Filipinos in the stands and millions more watching from afar who saw in Alex something beyond a tennis player. They saw possibility. There's a larger narrative here about the burden and energy of expectation. As one fan commentary observed, representing an entire nation can be both electrifying and overwhelming on the biggest stages, where intense crowd support may paradoxically exert pressure as much as it inspires. In an era where tennis increasingly reflects global diversity and the rise of new talent, Alycia's path resonates far beyond her personal record. She stands as a symbol for aspiring athletes in regions where tennis isn't traditionally dominant. Young girls in Manila, Cebu, Davao, and all corners of Southeast Asia now know that a Grand Slam main draw is not only accessible, but also conquerable with commitment. Watching her compete isn't just entertainment, it's representation.